So this is an example of how to write linear equations given a graph. So the first thing you will have to do is to put this in point slope form. That's the best. This is because if I want you to write it in standard slope, intercept, and point slope, I would rather start with point slope, slope, intercept, and then move it to standard form. So the standard form for linear is ax plus by equals c, and this is on your math chart. Slope intercept is y equals mx plus b, where the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. Point slope form is done when you're given a point and a slope. So you will have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where the x1 and the y1 are the coordinates of your point, and the m is your slope. So I'm going to go ahead and use this point. This is 1 comma 3, and my slope is, though I can see that my rise is 2 and my run is 1, so therefore my slope is 2. I still would like you to see how I apply my m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, we are anticipating that our slope, which is our rise over our run, is going to look like 2 over 1 or 2. So let's begin this. So if this is my point 1 and this is my point 2, by the way, you can also use this as your point 2. You have 3 given points, but I want to use this. So that's negative 1 comma negative 1. So again, here I will label this as my x1, y1, and this is my x2, y2. So I'm going to have a negative 1 minus is fixed, and then my y1 is a 3 all over. X2 is negative 1 minus a 1. And if you plug this in on your calculator, this is going to give you a negative 4 over a negative 2, which is going to become, let me write it down here, your m being a 2, which is what we anticipated. And so let us now begin writing our equation. So I'm going to start here. So that will be my y minus my, I'm going to use this. I'm just going to use that. So, but you can use any of the 3 points. You can even use this. So y minus y1 is 3 equals 2 is your slope, and your x is fixed and minus is fixed, and my x1 is 1. That's it. This is already the equation for point slope form. Okay, so after I do my point slope form, I'm going to show you that this is easily transposed to slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Your goal is to isolate your y on one side. Let's do it here. If I isolate my y on one side, y equals, the 3 goes to the other side, and so I'm going to rewrite everything as this, and then the 3 becomes a plus 3 because you moved it to the other side. And I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to have a 2x minus 2 plus 3. I'm going to combine those two, and that becomes 2x plus 1, which confirms our graph, because on our graph, your y-intercept is a 1. So this is your y-intercept, and this is, again, your slope. So that confirms the things we're doing. So I'm going to box this, and I'm going to put on the side that this is the slope intercept form. The next equation is the standard form, and the standard form is basically just putting the uh, ax and by together on one side, making sure that a is not a fraction and a is positive. So let's look at this. A is already positive here, so what I'm going to do is simple. I'm just going to keep it there. I'm going to move my y, and I'm going to move my c. That now is a standard form if flipped. So I'm just going to move them and put this here. I'm not changing anything. I'm not changing the side because that's an equal sign. I can just easily do that. So that now is my standard. Okay, I am so sorry. Careless, that is an X. That is not a Y. Absolutely not. Okay, guys, what I did here is just I redrew my line. It's the same line, so please don't be confused. This is already messy, and so I need to show you how to create a parallel line through here. I mean, parallel line to the given line through point 2, 1. So, step 1. Identify your 2, 1. 2, 1 is right here. I'm sorry, 2, negative 1. 2, negative 1 is right here. That's your first step. Second step, understand that the parallel slope is the same as the given line. So if that is my so if my m is a 2, my parallel m is a 2. So that's 2 over 1. I need my rise and run, and you know that that's plus 2 over plus 1, or negative 2 over negative 1. The signs must be the same because it is a positive. Any of the two will work, but just for speed purposes, I want to use just, well, you know what? I take that back. I will do both. And that is our rise, and that is our run. Let's do both. So from here, I'm going to rise 2, and I'm going to run positive 1, which is to the right. So for this one, I'm going to rise negative 2, which means go down and run. I'm sorry, not there. Negative 1, run to the left. My bad. That's not supposed to be there. And then you're going to connect the dots, and that's already your parallel line to the given one. So I apologize for that. It does not look so perfect, but yes, I tried my best. So these two are parallel. You just do your rise and run, and then rise and run. So, and I want you to name it as well, or label it. So we're going to use the point slope form for this one. So I want to choose this. I'm sorry, I want to choose this as my given point. So this is my x1, y1, and I'm going to do that right here. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's now going to be y minus or plus 1, because double negative is positive, equals 2 times x minus 2. Guys, this is it. That is already the name of your line. So you're going to put an arrow and you're going to point it to that, because that is your line. Now let us create the perpendicular to the given line through point 1, 3. So first step to draw or graph a perpendicular line to a given line through 1, 3 is that you put your pen where that point is, and that point is in 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the one we're using, so that's 1, 3. I want a perpendicular line through that. The thing is, we have to have another point, this point and another one, and we can get that by identifying our slope. And so let's look at this again. If your m is 2 and your line parallel is 2 also, your perpendicular m has to be the negative reciprocal. The negative reciprocal happens when you flip the 2 over 1 into 1 over 2 and you change the sign. So if this is positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. So how does the perpendicular slope for this one look like? So our perpendicular m would look like negative 1 over 2. And you all know that this has two meanings. It can be positive 1 over negative 2, or different signs, guys. Negative 1 over positive 2. You know what? Just for practice purposes, I want to use both. So this is our rise. This is our run. Let us begin. From the given point 1, 3, I'm going to rise 1. And I'm going to run negative 2, which means to the left. It's right here. Now, I'm going to do this. So this is my rise. And this is my run. My rise is negative 1. So from here, I'm going to go down 1 unit. And then my run is positive 2, which means I'm going to go to the right 2 units. This now are my points. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get my ruler and try my best to align them. And you're going to connect the dots. And then I'm going to require you to name this line. So this line will be named as, again, using y minus y1, your point slope form, equals m times x minus x1. I want to keep that as my point, okay? So I will have y minus my y1 is a 3. My slope or perpendicular is a negative 1/2. And parentheses, my x is fixed, minus is fixed, x1 is 1. That is it. You will box that, and that is your label for that line. I hope you learned this today. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me or refer back to this video.